All right, here is a well, I don't know. This is going to be a new week, but this is from Chaos Season, and this is just like a quick. Welcome to another Ether Race video. This is just a quick example or review. I don't know, whichever word works best there, of what life will be like once we get Heimdallr as a seasonal mythic, and I think it's definitely gonna happen. I think for the New Year's banner, because we always get like a couple of them, right? We always get a lot of them actually on the New Year's banner, so I'm pretty sure she's probably going to be one of the options. So this is just showing off what will happen once we start to have her available as an offensive unit, or rather a unit that we can bring on offense instead of just defense. And I think she has a good place on offense in terms of how the counter play can work. Initially, my understanding of it, or my thought process of it, was that it would be really bad because defense doesn't have a way to counter what she has to offer. But just looking at this, you're going to see the interaction here where essentially what's happening here is that both of these units can beat Sita, and that's probably not something that you'll run into often when you're trying to tank on defense. This is only for tanking purposes. It doesn't necessarily impact you if you're trying to player phase. I don't think you're gonna. If you're player phasing, you're probably not going to use her unless you're leaving a unit for last. And I don't know how that interaction works, but. Well, I was seeing Luigi do it, but I think he made a couple of mistakes sometimes, so it's a little bit more complicated than it seems. But for tanking at the very least, this is how it would work, and it looks very interesting, more interactive than I initially thought, and it seems like she definitely has some potential to work as an offense unit, and it's going to be interesting to see how they implement that once the New Year banner comes. I definitely think she's going to be on the New Year's banner. I don't think it's going to be the old guy. Valley we haven't seen yet. Boulder has already gotten like a bunch of alts, so I'm losing a speed check here because of Jim Bro, but which is still frozen, but I mean whatever, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think this unit will probably be the pick. But yeah, just trying to show this off. Step Bro yet again with a fantastic defense for Chaos Season. Alrighty, here we go with our first match of Light Season, and yeah, here. This is actually a difficult defense for me to deal with specifically. None of my teams actually handle this very well, and I'm just trying to do my best here to try to get through this. The problem with this particular defense, or what makes this defense so challenging, is the terrain. Not the terrain effect from the cornering, but the terrain that was chosen for the map layout. As you can see here, we're looking at the I forgot what this one's called. It's not Lost Castle, it's something else. Spring Break? No. I forget what this one's called, but being stuck behind here and then having to break a structure, waste an action rather, to then get up, makes this very difficult to play into, because one, an action is wasted, and two, you don't necessarily, without the safety fence, without the safety fence, I don't have the luxury of waiting until turn 2 here. There just isn't enough space, particularly with Byleth, who has deceptive range here. He can actually strike over the fortress and actually strike into the back row, which means he covers those 3 spaces there where you see Lynn, Peony, and Plumeria. He can cover those 3 spaces with ease, and that's actually very good for the opposing team here. A +10 Bernadette, and I love this unit. I don't know what does this even do? Like, what is this even? I read it and it's like, whoa, words, word sandwich. Is this better than Assassin Strike? I mean, I don't think so, but I mean, whatever. But yeah, Bernadetta here, probably for Bernadetta because she gets the additional true damage when she's vantaging, and that works well. Whatever. Bernadetta here means that it's difficult for you to initiate on turn 2 because everyone will have the vantage up. probably not the worst thing if you have like a reflex team, you get the hit and then, but then I don't know if you can, a lot of units are tanking Jimbro, especially ranged tanks these days. Yeah, it makes it a bit more difficult to play into this. And then we have Ather as the magic save, who I thought was tremendous here. He worked really, really well, and you're going to see in a little bit.
Bandits here?
Well, it's really more a problem with me attacking with Summer Golfeg, who isn't really supposed to be the primary initiator here. She's more of a secondary combat unit. And also the only I actually don't have any other magic. Like I said, a lot of my teams are the same for Light Season, which I do want to change. I don't have any other magic unit as an initiator, or as a tank buster rather, for this season. So this was always going to be difficult for me. But yeah, there was no option for me to really wait until turn 2 here. So I had to start to get creative, and I tried my best here, but the terrain effects the third thing was the corn terrain. It did actually play a part, and the fact that Boulder here misses this kill was very unfortunate, man. Very, very unfortunate. The problem was she wasn't getting 2 arch rival off. If she gets 2 arch rivals off, she's able to take out Jimbro. But because we didn't have the additional cooldown from Lucina, who isn't on this team, so this overall is just not my favorite team right now. Or after the fact, it's just missing too many pieces. It's great that Yunaka is here, but Yunaka is here for the mobility, which is why I'm actually able to even get out. And is try to start setting up an attack in this way. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to try this. But really, it would have been better to have Lucina on this team just to get the cooldown on the arch rival. It probably would have given me some more stat swings. Just stuff like that. It would have just worked out better. And Lynn also did not have the cleansing. Unfortunately, she was supposed to have the
Good morning.
Whatever that ring is called that cleanses. I think it's the Micaiah one. But that ended up not happening. So just didn't work out in my favor. And you're going to see me try to play my way through this. And it doesn't go well. Well, it goes. But, we fall short. Because ultimately, there are two... Really, for as strong as it is, I was making progress. The problem was there's no one here that you want to really leave alive aside from Tree Man. And unfortunately, he's the magic save, which means that I have to attack him before I can attack anyone else. So there's no one that I could really leave alive here while I try to take out, to get to turn 2 to then potentially try to get the bots. I just wasn't an option to leave any of these units laying around. You don't want Byleth around, you don't want Felix around, you definitely don't want Bernadetta around. Underrated, I think. She still packs a punch, and I thought her what's it called again? Paranoia was dual phase, but it's not. It's start a turn. So that's the only reason I was actually able to attack into this. If her paranoia was dual phase, this would have been over. I wouldn't have even bothered trying. Because none of my units really live the Brave Hit aside from Boulder. Yeah, so no one would have been able to take out Bernadetta. But yeah, you don't want to leave Bernie. You can't leave Felix. And I can't leave Erica. And I can't leave the Boulder. There's just no one on the enemy team that I could have left alive aside from Tree Man, since he would have had limited mobility. And unfortunately, he's the magic save, so he had to go. Still failing to get the KO here, even after I wasted a dance and a few other things, which is really unfortunate. So we get this kill here with Golveg. Having the flared sparrow on her is just fantastic. It's just unfortunate that the terrain effect isn't larger, which is not something that I would have even thought about when the terrain effect was first introduced. For flared sparrow, I would not have thought that it was small, in comparison to where we are now and how much of the map these new terrain effects consume. It really just hinders your ability, or it's not even hinder. It feels like a missed opportunity to make Flared Sparrow better. I would substitute some of the offensive capabilities of Flared Sparrow just to have a larger spread of the fire terrain, just to counteract what we have now. Deadly Miasma actually does it very well, and unfortunately there isn't a skill comparison for that, or not counterpart, partner, whatever you want to call it, for Flared Sparrow, for Deadly Miasma. That's really what I was looking to have. Particularly the one that gets to where you initiate from. Because with Flared Sparrow, even if you initiate, you don't clear the terrain effect that you're on. If you initiate on a tile that has a terrain effect active, you still end up stuck there, and that just sucks. So, depending on, what you're attacking into, it may not work out in your favor, which leaves you with the forced option of always attacking with a flyer that has Deadly Miasma, because they're the only ones that can inherit that particular skill, unless you want to run with what's that Dimitri called? Valentine's Dimitri, who is just always a disappointment every time I try to use him. He just always disappoints me consistently. So yeah, the only other option for the larger fire terrain would have been with Edelgard, but she's more of a late game initiator at this point. She doesn't do Winter Edelgard. Doesn't do very well as your primary attacker. We are able to take out Jimbo now since he's down to 11. Everyone can do it since we've basically damaged him. And I'm just thinking of options, but the problem again still remains. Golvig can't do her Golvig thing because she's not a save breaker, and Tree Man is stopping me from actually initiating. So it's just a problem all around here. Unless I was able to get Golvig to take out 3 units, not including what's his face, Armored Bro, there's no way I would have been able to win. I was thinking potentially I could have maybe tried to avoid Bernadetta's range, but worst case scenario. But there's just no way, man. There's just no way. It was already a loss at this point. I was just trying to figure out how to get further in and then, maybe make this work, but it was already over.
Time to finish
but yeah,
the job.
this was the first match of the late season that it ended up being a loss. Tough map to match into. GG's on my opponent, or rather for my opponent here. You built this very, very well. I think this, how do you beat this? Safe defense, probably want that. Stronger nuke, perhaps. Maybe Veronica. And something to just cleanse the terrain. While not the most necessary thing, it would be helpful. Boulder. Man, if Boulder was able to get an extra action like Golvig, should be nice. I think at some point they're gonna start counteracting our action economy, which means that there's probably gonna be an emblem ring that gives you an extra action. Probably the Byleth one. I think that's what the Byleth one does, the dance. Yeah, I can see that happening at some point. And that would be like a perfect partnership for Boulder, because she hits so hard. Well, any nuke at the point that we do get that ring, or a ring similar to that, will benefit from that, because just being able to have the dual button effect that gets an extra action, it's going to be, as a ring effect, it's going to be very powerful on just any ranged nuke. I really hate wasting or having to waste a dance just to get another attack out of Boulder. I mean, yes, Sharena exists, but you can't really fit her onto every team. Like, who would I'd have had to have dropped Golvig, and Golvig is here for the action economy. So, yeah. Or maybe even, maybe drop Yunaka, but Yunaka's also here for the traps and the movements. Yunaka just does a ton of stuff, and I still enjoy her quite a bit. So it just, yeah, I don't know. But I don't know, hopefully we get a ring like that. Maybe it would be too power creepy, but I think, like I was saying earlier, Heimdall is probably going to be getting an ult in January. Because I don't see them doing the old man, like I said, because he's creepy and I don't think he'll sell well. And, Heimdall because boobs. Valley because she's, fairly cute and adorable, and I think her gimmick will... I don't know if it'll be an ult or if she'll get a legendary or mythic version first. That's to be seen. And then we're left with the sisters we've already gotten, unless they want to do a duo version of them, which I don't think everyone would appreciate, because we've already gotten 2 copies of Boulder, or 2 ults for Boulder. Ather isn't that popular from what I've seen, and just putting them together, I guess Boulder would be the lead, but then what would that unit actually do, It could happen, but there's still spaces on the banner. So who else would the other spaces go to? I don't know. There's no one else from the current roster of enemy OCs that I'd really be looking for to get an ult. But that's it, man. This was a tough match. You won. GG's. Alright, so yeah, we had a really tough match to start the season, and this was our first win of the season. Basically, this is the start. Kind of looked like he was trying to go for the same thing, but just on the wrong map. If this was on the other map, it probably would have been difficult as well. But yeah, this is pretty straightforward to get through once we open up an avenue for our ranged nukes to get in. And Golvig can do the Golvig thing on this map. We're going to be banking on Yunaka to take out Meathugger, and then from there it should be GG's. Yeah, just take them out one by one with Golvig, who is still a fantastic unit, regardless of what anyone says. They're just not using her right, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm Dolly. So I mean, well, still going back over the loss, I really like that map. I think I sent a friend request afterwards, because I'd love to replay that just to see if there's any way that I could get through. Just looking at the layout, again, I think that's that terrain that he selected to build the defense on. It's very good for that map. I don't think it would have worked on any other map, because there would just be too much open space. So that particular terrain for that map, I think, appears fantastically. And I think even BK would work even better than Armored Bro for that particular setup. Although, does the physical save matter? Maybe yeah, I think the physical save does matter, actually, since Byleth would have been left exposed. I would have had more options to attack into, and then Lorather wouldn't have gotten the assigned decoy thing. So yeah, Jimbro was the best pick to actually make the whole thing work together. Or unless you wanted to put Soren there. So, Soren there in that spot where Jimbro was. Soren, no, it wouldn't have worked. It had to be Jimbro. But yeah, really strong defense in my opinion. I think it's very specific, not something that you could easily substitute the units out for any other units. Like that, the spot that Byleth was in, I don't think you could put, like, let's say a Ryoma there, just because of how much range Byleth can cover with the +1 movement. You wouldn't have been able to put Ryoma there. Erica, you could probably swap out for Ryoma, but being able to quad. The downside with Erica is that she can't take a hit anymore, which is insane. She has a ton of flat damage reduction and she can't take a hit. But yeah, and she's losing speed checks. That's the big issue. She's losing speed checks. So the speed meta is back. But that spot you could probably swap out for someone that has distant counter built in, and that would more than likely be Ryoma. And then Felix, you could definitely put a stronger unit there, but Felix is there because of his action economy, and that's also where the traps were real. So that's a good placement. Bernadetta, I think, is a fantastic choice for what that defense is doing. I don't see any problems with Bernadetta being there. And I don't think you could replace her either. She needs to be there. And then the other units are also mandatory as well. Boulder because she's a mythic. Tree Man because mythic and very good save option, especially as a magic save. The partnership with the Ike Ring is what made him so difficult for my Golvik to break through, because she doesn't have a ton of true damage. Should have needed to do way more damage on that first hit. Is it the truth? No, it's this damage reduction. She would have needed to have been able to survive the 99 coming back at her, and that just wasn't going to happen. Yeah, I think
Don't rush in.
Tree Man with the Ike Ring definitely worked out really well there. Typically, I would have went with Shield Fighter, Briar Save Shield Fighter, but base kit Tree Man works just as well, and you saw the performance there. I think it's really good setup. But yeah, moving on. Heimdallr. I think there is going to be a big change in the meta once she is introduced into the game as a seasonal ult. Yeah, they might skip New Year's. Maybe they push it all the way to summer. But the meta is definitely going to change, or will have to change to accommodate her, because she's going to be so dominant on offense that it will force defense to adjust. And I don't know how that will look. Because the thing, like you were seeing the matchup there, the reason that I was losing there is just because Sita isn't the fastest anymore, and I was losing the speed check to both Camilla and Ryoma. So both of those units would have been able to take out Sita. The issue is, if only one of them, let's say it wasn't Ryoma, let's say it was a Felix in that position, Camilla would have been the one to attack first, because Felix would have died if he tried to initiate into my Sita. So Camilla would have tried to attack first, and then she'd have gotten stuck. But then the other thing is that it's not like her Heimdallr's effect isn't like brain dead. You have to put some thought into it, because I made attempts to get it to work, and it just didn't work. If I'm being honest. Ryoma attacked because he did the most damage, I believe, or took the most damage, or was it the HP? One of the two. I think no, it's probably the HP condition, because Camilla would have more than likely done the most damage. Camilla wasn't inflicted by the effect. So if she had attacked first, she would have just been able to hit, and it wouldn't have been a problem, since it hit the units closest to the front or something like that. I forget exactly how Heimdallr's thing is worded, but there's counterplay to it. So if you have like a rally trap, it's probably going to work perfectly with that particular setup, because the unit that rallies is going to be great to like catch your opponent off guard. They'll then be able to go in and not be affected by the end action gimmick that Heimdallr is offering. So I think there's a lot of counterplay there. It's actually what I wanted to do for my Chaos Season defense, but I did not get her in time, and my defense just was doing well enough. I mean, there was a couple of losses for Chaos Season, as well as a couple of wins, and I was like, this is whatever. And maybe for next Chaos Season I'll do it. I'm definitely going to do it. Definitely. Just got to figure out what it's going to look like. But I think there's a place for her there in Chaos Season on defense, as well as in regular season Ether Raids on offense. I don't think she'll work well on Ether Raids defense. I just don't think that's the greatest spot for her.
This is challenging.
Yeah, I just don't think it's the greatest spot for her. I don't like her as an Anima Mythic. If she was just a regular unit, it'd be fine, but I don't like her as an Anima Mythic.
All right.
But yeah, that was just to show you how the interaction will work, or what we have to look forward to in the future once this unit is added to the game. I high 90%. She's definitely going to be added to the game as a
You have orders?
seasonal alt or something. She'll be there, and we're gonna have to figure it out. It's so interesting, like the way that it works, the mechanics involved into how
We'll
it,
see it through.
like, especially when you're omni tanking at the very least, and how that plays out
Got it.
is interesting to look at, and it's going to be interesting to try to build a defense around. At least from my perspective, that's something that I'll be considering.
You will fall.
And a lot of people are going to get caught up by it, so that's definitely something that I'm excited to see. GG's.